Hi everybody, Mark Michaels here, joined today with the director of the American Performance Horseman, Josh Valdez. Josh, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for having us, and welcome to the TR9 Ranch here at our draw party.
Well, this media day is always something we look forward to, and I think the athletes do too, because they get to mingle, they get to, it's kind of a relaxed environment, they're not in show mode, and I think it's just a great way for people to come together here and start talking about what their plans are.
Absolutely. You know, it's pretty rare when the top athletes in the cutting, the reining, and the cow horse are all in one place at one time. It happens at the Performance Horseman, it happens at a few other places, but it never really happens where they can just kind of kick their boots up, relax, and hang out with their fellow competitors, even if they're not in the same discipline.
Well, let's talk about the American Performance Horseman for just a minute. So the event is happening July 19th, starting at 6 p.m. at the Dickies Arena. Let's talk about the move. You've been at Globe Life Park the last 2 years, and now we've moved it to Dickies, and we've separated from the rodeo, so now the American Performance Horseman is a standalone event. Let's talk about that a little bit.
It is. So, the American Performance Horseman has been a subsidiary or a portion of the American Western weekend the night prior. Before the American Rodeo. Now for the last 2 years, we felt that this event has grown and can stand on its own, and no better place than Cowtown, no better place than the new venue we found in Dickies Arena, and grateful for the partnership we have with our friends there at Dickies. But just walking through Dickies itself and the handful of pre-production tours that we've been on, there's not a bad seat in the house.
No.
That is a spectacular venue, a very classy venue, and I think it's going to make the show better as well. Being in a baseball park, trying to produce a horse show for all three disciplines was rather challenging, but in a place like Dickies, not only do we elevate it for our spectators, but I think we're going to have a better horse show too.
Yeah, I believe so, and I think you're right. Even though Globe Life Field was just such an amazing place to have an event like the American Performance Horseman, it was still like you felt like you were a little bit far away sometimes, I think, for some of the people. And this is a lot more intimate, and it's like you're watching a show, and this show was designed to be fit into that space that's right there in the middle of the arena.
Yeah, and in our home, I feel like Fort Worth is the home of the Western performance horse industry. A lot of our major events are right there. None have taken place in the Dickies Arena to this date, but we'll be the first Western Performance Horseman right here in our backyard in our hometown, Fort Worth, Texas.
I know a lot of the athletes are excited because there's always, since Dickie was being built and since it's been finished, it's right there across from Will Rogers, and it's teasing us, and it's like, man, we'd love to be able to go show over there, and now these guys are getting the opportunity to do that, and I think it's really elevated not just the event itself, but also, how these athletes look at it, and possibly, for future shows in that arena.
Absolutely, and I look forward to, this being the first of many Western Performance Horse events in that venue. And just kind of pays homage to our heritage there in Fort Worth. I'm very excited about Dickies.
Yeah. Let's talk about the event itself. This is such a unique event. There's very few other events like this. Why is it so popular with the fans and the athletes?
Well, it's the only place you're going to find all of these three disciplines in one arena in one night. I think Teton Ridge elevates the spectator experience that's second to none. The entertainment side of things, doing concerts at our show, only elevates, the action that we're seeing in arena from our horses and our competitors. It's an experience like none other from my perspective.
Yeah, and some other changes that have occurred this year is you've expanded the field a little bit. You've gone from 5 contenders to now 8. You've got more teams. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Exactly, expanding from 5 competitors to 8 competitors per discipline, so 8 reiners, 8 cutters, and 8 cow horse competitors. Really what we saw from the last 2 years and taking those learnings is our fans were asking for more horses. They wanted to be able to go there and sit through almost a set of the cutting, almost a set of the reining, almost a set of the cow horse, and that was kind of the magic number. 8 gives us enough time to be able to produce an event like this in one night at a very high level, still have time for transitions in between each discipline, and then a headlining act at the end for our big concert. But kind of listened to our patrons and said they said they wanted more horses, and we're giving them 3 more per discipline. So 24 total athletes for the Performance Horseman.
Yeah, and these aren't just any horses or any riders. I mean, these are the elite of the elite, and we've got some of the top riders in the industry, but we've also got some of the up-and-comers that have had some good years the last couple of years, have really started making a name for themselves, and we've got some new faces at the event this year.
Yeah, I think in the reining portion, you see Casey O'Rourke, up-and-coming rider, won the NRHA reining fraternity. In the cow horse, Veronica Swells had an awesome year last year, winning the Stallion Stakes. She's qualified. Tostin Peterson in the cutting, making it to the American Performance Horseman. Yeah. Thrilled with having those 3 amongst many that qualified this year.
Well, let's talk about the Italian connection here this year. We've got an international competitor for the first time that is actually flying his horse over, and there's going to be quite an entourage involved with that, from what I hear.
Yeah, so Manuel Cortesi, reiner from Italy, got qualified, had a fantastic year. The reining shows, at least there in Europe, have really kicked off. Manuel won a bunch of money and got qualified, but he is, bringing his horse over just for this competition. And from what I understand, the horse is an excellent horse himself. I know Manuel himself is just coming off a big win at the Italian reining derby. Excited to have both of them, and what a storyline, a horse coming from overseas for this competition. We're thrilled. We already have our content team, licking their lips, so excited about telling the story of Manuel and bringing his horse over.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this event so special, is that you're getting the best from everywhere all over the world, and now not just drawing the athletes, but the horsepower as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's talk about what's going to be happening that day. So you've got the 3 events. You've got the cutting, the cow horse, and the reining. I believe in the morning you're going to have the reining portion of the cow horse, which is a little bit different than the other events just because they have to have 2 events as part of their event. So the reining will go in the morning, and then let's talk about what's going to happen the rest of the night.
Correct. So we kick off the night with the cutting starting at 6 o'clock. Have a set of cutting, 8 horses there. Transition into the reining, have 8 horses in the reining. End the night with the fence work, which is always the crowd pleaser. And end the night with Brothers Osborne on stage, headlining our act or headlining our show for the Performance Horseman.
Well, and I think it just makes it a whole entertaining evening, and you're going to draw people that may not come out just to watch an event, but when there's a concert involved at the end, it's like, okay, well, let's go do the whole thing. And I think it's really opened a lot of eyes to these sports. Obviously, there's been the Yellowstone effect. There's been other things that have really catapulted the Western industry, and Teton has been a huge part of that with what they're doing with the American Horseman. Let's talk about the TV coverage, the extra stuff that goes into the media days that we're doing here. How is all this impacting these industries? What is the feedback you're hearing?
Oh, certainly. I mean, we're telling stories that haven't been told before, whether that's following the athletes that have qualified for the Performance Horseman. We're capturing content here at the TR9 Ranch around the horses that they're going to show. Planning on distributing our broadcast on Fox Sports, one of the major television networks. The sports of cutting, reining, and cow horse are getting so many different eyeballs on them, that we've never had before because of events like this. And I think it's a great time for the Western performance horse industry. And I'm excited to see the ripple effects of this, of other fans being introduced to this, new owners, new horse breeders, new competitors themselves. That are getting introduced because of some of these efforts like this.
Yeah, well, you were showing me earlier some of the content and some of the pictures and the layouts of what the arena is going to look like, what the warm-up area is going to look like, and the stalls. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm glad to talk through a little bit. The Dickies venue is fantastic. Not only do they have the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, the beginning of every year, but they also have a number of concerts throughout the year. But the way they built this facility is really in the mindset of having an equestrian event, and they've done a great job with the rodeo year after year. We'll have stalls on site for our athletes, our competitors to stall their horses right there. The night before, they'll have some open arena ride time. Come back the next day and have another moment to come and ride in the arena. I think an interesting fact that's unique to Dickies Arena and the venue for the Performance Horsemen, our warm-up arena, it's actually called the Simmons Bank Pavilion. So as you're coming up, our patrons that buy tickets, you come up on the east side of the building. You can actually look down into the warm-up arena prior to the competition. And see horses like Kittenish working the flag right there, you know, right before you go and take your seat and watch the event. Something that's really special and I think unique to an event like this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it must have been a little bit easier for you. And I'm not going to say there's anything easy about putting an event like this on, but being in Dickies and being a little bit closer to the home of cutting and cow horse now and the arena setup, that had to help a little bit.
Well, a baseball park is not typically your best place to put on a horse show, you know, and also thinking, you know, doing it in between a rodeo isn't the easiest either. Now as a standalone event, you know, this event I think is really going to flourish. Like I was saying earlier, I think the horse show is going to be better. I think it's going to be a much better spectating experience. I'm really looking forward to being in the Dickies.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about the tickets. How can people buy tickets?
Yeah, go to the AmericanPerformanceHorseman.com. You'll find the ticket link right there. Those folks that are interested in some VIP packages, they can email horsemanvip@tetonridge.com, and we'll get you connected with our sales team.
I can't tell you how entertaining this event is. You know, the past couple of years that we've been there and done it, it's just you get to see so much, and it's the best of the best. It truly is. You know, not just the riders like we talked about and the horses as well, but the entertainment there and just the social aspect. But this is seeing these three sports on a pinnacle, and it's just an amazing night to come out and enjoy this and see everything there. So be sure to go check out the website. You're going to tell us right now?
TheAmericanPerformanceHorseman.com.
All right. Well, you heard it there. Josh, thanks a lot for all the information. We look forward to seeing you there. And be sure and get your tickets and come on down.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Josh. And then can you let everybody know where the Chris Dawson signing is going to be?
Chris, I think we're gonna have him in the back 40. Yes. So you're going to have to actually walk out quite a bit. And
he's
then
cleaning stalls, I think, out there.
He might be cleaning stalls here before the event.
We got Chris off camera here.